Question is more convenient for them. So
I think we're good with one.
okay, so I'll piggyback last week's onto this one.
Yeah.
All right.
If I could meet with you for like 2 minutes afterwards, well, maybe 5 minutes, but just to, like, a couple ideas. Oh, you gotta go.
Yeah, just, I gotta,
All right.
but, we can talk, I'll give you my, so.
All right.
The other thing is, real quick, is, I'd like a picture of each and every one of you, I think, you know, to put up on the intro, to these, so people know the names and the faces of their town board, if that's okay.
Yeah.
You know, if you don't, the last week, the pictures didn't come out very good, so, you know, if you guys don't mind. If you mind, then I won't, I'll just use your name.
All right, yeah, if you could leave me a number or something,
Yeah.
I'll give you a shout.
So let's go back then, since Tim's gonna do that, to the video approval resolution. And you approved January 5th, so can we just insert, Lou made the resolution, Bob seconded it, everyone voted yes except Joe, you abstained. Is it okay to add January 10th to that resolution?
I'm good.
Okay? All right, okay.
Tim, do you want to provide an email address for us to send? Okay.
There's gonna be two meetings on one CD.
One DVD, yeah.
One DVD.
So it'll have January 5th, I'll have that. Then, you know, obviously, today's meeting on it. It's just more convenient for Princetown. They don't have to, you know, 2 DVDs and just throw one in and let it go.
I'm good with it, yeah. Thank you, sir. More public comments, please.
Homer Dell. I live on 1219 Quackenbush Road. Councilman Esposito was worried about some meeting being announced before. I wondered about the organization meeting they just had, and it wasn't advertised. I'd like to know why it wasn't. I only found out because I came over to pay my taxes. And I was wondering why that meeting wasn't. Is there some reason?
Well, actually it was. So I'm going to defer a little bit if I go off track here to our attorney. Special meetings, in special case the organizational meeting, is defined by the Association of Towns considered a special meeting. And there's a special clause in there for ingoing and outgoing supervisors. So what's allowed, and again, I'll ask Pete to define it if I don't understand it completely, or explain it completely, is that upon the call of the new incoming supervisor, we're allowed to call a meeting within, and then 72 hours. You have 72 hours. An attempt can be made to publicize it in the paper. Now, I think Carol copied the Gazette, but for this special meeting, for the organizational meeting, which is, you know, a special meeting, it does not necessarily need a public notice. An attempt can be made, but it doesn't have to happen. Now, the special meeting happened in December doesn't fall on that criteria. That was a special meeting, and that needs also 72 hours, correctly, and that has to hit the paper. That's 2 days.
Your the big sign that was open government sign that was on property over here. To me, that's part of open government.
We'll try to do better, Homer.
Okay, I'll check on it.
That's what we like. We like to checks and balances. Additional thoughts?
Christopher White, Bangor Road. Just noticed that some of the people here came tonight were out of agendas. She's always a good advocate for having agendas when she doesn't have one. Question for Lou and Bob at the organizational meeting. you approved the 5 cents for mileage this year. Last year you did not. Just kind of curious why. Also, and then on this here, the public comment, the same rules apply for this year when last year it was a big problem on free speech, listening to the town people on the 3-minute rule. And we heard about it. Lou made a big deal about it, but yet, here it is. Just kind of curious why.
No, you can, well, I'll address it. So, I mean, I'll address it initially, and then I'll turn it to Lou. So you're right, that was on the, during the campaign. It's day January 10th. Personally, I hadn't had a chance to catch up and rewrite the resolution, but Councilman Esposito has written the resolution. So, I mean, we can adopt it tonight. If Lou wants to read it, or... So we're prepared.
We save it for the portion, leave public comment open in case there's other public comments, and we can take that up afterwards.
I'm sorry, in your other, you had 2 other thoughts at the beginning. Oh, about Lou and the mileage?
Yeah, the mileage, this year they voted for the 55 cents, him and Bob both. Last year, when it was increased to 55 from 51, they voted
I didn't
against
vote
it.
for that. Neither did Bob.
At the organization meeting, we did.
He voted for 55.
Yep.
Yes, but I didn't vote for it last year.
Because exactly my point, Bob, Lou, whichever, because he voted, then you voted, you wait for him to vote, for you to vote, so whatever. Just kind of curious why.
Cost of living, I guess I just figured it was fine.
But you didn't figure that out last year?
Well, the way things were as far as the budget and everything, we weren't getting any increases. I like to be consistent, so, you know, as far as, I know we didn't go with increases this year, but we all know that the expense of the gas and everything is out of control, so within reason, I felt it was okay.
Yes, same thing, ditto.
Tim Bishop, 318 Vernon. Just a couple questions. I heard some discussion on the Gorman Rooter Drive roadwork, and there were 2 invoices, I think, that came in. And I'm not sure if I heard what had been approved as a budgetary item. I thought it was something in the $30-something thousand. Yet I heard 2 invoices for about $68,000 being paid or considered to be paid. So can you clear that up for me?
We approved 35,000 in the first, I think it was in, I could be wrong, maybe in May. Came back and we approved an additional 1,600, I think it was, for, I think it was an OGS bill, is that what it's called? OGS, it was something that we approved. It was an extra 1,600 that was approved at the next meeting, so it was actually 36,000 and change, if I'm not mistaken.
Okay, that's where it says
I actually don't recall that.
Yeah, well, I've got it in
Shut
there,
this.
so. And I guess the bill came in at 33,000, is that right, Mike? And we ended up sending a check for 36,000, and there was an outstanding bill for $33,445 that went unpaid. That the town board had no, that I had no knowledge of. I don't know about everybody else. I can't speak for everybody else in the town, but I had no knowledge of it from July until the last week of December.
So when funds are expended above and beyond what's budgeted, what is the process? Is there a public notification process, a public hearing process to increase budgetary?
I think you can address that to the attorney, because I wasn't in favor of it. I thought the meeting was not handled the way it was supposed to be. There was not the 72-hour notice given that it was supposed to be. So I voted no on all three resolutions.
Yeah, I'm just trying to understand the process when budgetary items go awry.
There is a mechanism for there to be transfer from other accounts into the account that has a budget overrun. And the town can do that and regularly does that. That is the question.
So it's up to the purview of the town board members, it doesn't have to pass any public notification or public
Correct.
hearings.
Well, it does need public notification though.
To do what?
Say public hearing.
Is that what your question was, or?
Yeah, my question is to understand the process, right, when funds are expended above and beyond what's budgeted. Okay, so the budget items are reviewed by the public. The public gets to see what's budgeted. Then the town goes ahead and spends something that's twice what a budget line item is, and it's,
As I understand it, if there's a cost overrun in one budget line, and there's going to be, I mean,
Right.
that's going to happen from time to time as that budget are exceeded. If there are other locations within the town budget where funding can be transferred from one to the other, the town board has the authority to do it.
so you can do that if you can cover the budget with another item.
Correct.
So you're taking away. But it still needs to be notified, and the public needs to be aware of the meetings under which those decisions are being made.
My understanding, it can be done in the course of the town board, of a regular town board meeting, which is regularly noticed as required by the rule.
Right, but in this case, it wasn't, so. Okay, my other question, I'm satisfied with that answer, is Todd Edwards made some statements about in the past 24 months, he's seen a lot of efficiencies and things happen within these board members and his discussions. Do you have any examples of how people have made this town government more efficient?
Board members, like, for the sake of town board members, I was speaking more of examples of people like George Mead in his role as a water commissioner, and some of his other roles here. I routinely observed him going above and beyond to just take care of things that need to be taken care of in the course of his job, continue to source and purchase things, and look to purchase things in the most economical ways. That's an example. So, I don't want there to be, I think a lot of the folks here involved, whether it's volunteers on our boards or our employees, you know, my experience has been overall that folks do a very good job for this town. I don't want there to be perspective that that's not what I believe. I don't believe that there's a, I don't want there to be a impression that anyone here is saying that that's not the case.
Okay, so from a systemic point of view, you haven't made any system changes, but individual effort is what comes to mind, is what you're saying.
I think I just told you what I was saying. I'm not sure it needs to be dissected any further than that, so.
Okay. All right, thank you.
One Brothers, McMorrow, Berkshire Drive. I just want to answer Tim's question on the budget. If there's enough in the budget to cover the funds, the town has a contingency budget. And it's a slush fund is what it is. Because you can't foresee every expense that happens all year. Sometimes there's stuff that goes over and above. And the town board has to approve the payments is what it is. It's semantics. Because they got control of money and the boards and whoever's working for the workers. And if they need the money and it's there, it's not a problem. If it's not there, then you have to have a public hearing and you have to have increase the budget. That's how that goes. As long as the money's there, they can transfer from one fund to the other and cover the slush fund. And that answers that question, on how that happened. You don't really need to notify everybody in the town do businesses, whether, all the time. If there's no money there to do it, then it's another issue. Then you gotta have a public hearing, and everybody's gotta come in and say their piece. In this case, it didn't go over enough that had to happen.
Anything more? All right, I guess we'll close public comment and open it up for councilman concerns. Todd, you got any thoughts, concerns? Councilman Myers?
I'm all set.
Councilman Drzezinski?
I would just like to try to, and Carol, I'm willing to work with you on this. Under new business, the very first motion, resolution, nicely itemize the expenses for a total of $276. Others just refer to claims number such and such to such and such. And I was wondering if there was a way, and if I can help in any way, because going through those folders, they're all in there, but, and when you go through it, you can see and understand, who it's to and how much. And if that was listed under each of the, instead of putting from claim X to claim Y, to actually just have some subheadings that just call out the values of those, each claim. It would add to the length of the agenda, I understand.
Yeah, it's not, I don't know how much repetitiveness there could be. I mean, in other words, I guess I don't get your drift, because actually in those folders are not only the bills themselves, but did you see in the front where each bill is listed and the amount and all that? So you've got it in two places there, okay?
Right.
You actually want to reiterate it again?
For the public.
The public can come and look at these.
I understand, but, I mean, it's a
Why don't you
tedious
put it on
process.
the website, in an area on the website?
Okay.
I mean, if you
Maybe
want
we
to
can
just.
talk about that and work something out, because it seems to me that the public has a right to understand.
Absolutely.
the breakdown. If it's $31,000, well, and there's 14 claims, how do they break down? And it's a valid question.
Then, and that's fine, and things can be foiled for. You can take the list and post it somewhere on the website. You can make a category and.
Right.
But
The way I'm looking at it, Carol, is that we have attendance at the town board meeting, and we're talking about, and the town board is going to approve this transfer of money, this payment, paying our bills. So the town, or those who have, taken the initiative to come to the town board meeting, can absolutely understand. If they have a question, they can ask, and then we can refer to the detail. To me, it just seems to be the right way to do it. So maybe you and I can talk offline and try to come up with a way to, make it happen. Okay?
I think it's time maybe if there's a way we could, and I know it's, again, just thinking out loud here, make an attachment on the back like a spreadsheet, just saying, what it was exactly. Is that what you're kind of going with?
I think you have to look at what meeting minutes are. They're not, they're historical legal documents. And I get what you're saying, and so I'm saying maybe the website, we can talk about it.
Well, okay.
Is more of a place to put something like that if you feel that the public wants to see it. It's all open for anyone to see. Any resident could come up and say, can I look at that? Absolutely they can. And so, I don't know really if it would be recommended that all this goes on historical, legally significant document, but.
Well, the agenda is different from the minutes, correct? And for, like, public comments, privileges of the floor, somebody has a question on something, well, let's address it. I mean, it's very important that our citizens feel free to understand what's going on. And
absolutely,
and
everything is always open, Joe.
yeah, no.
So.
But see, before I got involved, I would never have known how to come up and say, okay, can I see claim number 325?
But you can.
I guess
tell the residents.
I don't know why a resident would want to know what claim 325 was.
Well, it doesn't matter.
I mean, if they really want to know, I mean,
They have a right to know.
if they really want to know,
Absolutely.
they can find out. But
Yeah.
I'm just saying, we're having a conversation here. How long have you been involved here in the town? How many, I mean, is there a big occurrence for people to come in and ask for 2325? I don't think it's very proper. It sounds nice, and you all can discuss it.
I
don't
can
need to be
honestly
involved.
say I've never been foiled for these.
No, I- But you
But
know where
on the
I'm
other
coming from,
side
right?
of the coin,
Yeah.
I know what you're saying.
Yeah,
And,
okay.
and that has some merit. I don't know if the correct place is on the minutes.
Okay. Well, maybe we can talk about that.
That's.
I gotta pay my taxes too, so maybe we can.
She was gonna talk to you about that.
That's all.
Thank you, sir. Councilman Esposito.
I'm going to present this resolution. Whereas the mission for the town of Princetown is to make Princetown government more accessible, to distribute information to Princetown residents, provide a mechanism for feedback to town government. Resolved that the public be given the opportunity to provide feedback or inquire about town business at the regular monthly meeting, second Tuesday of every month. We would allow the public to share thoughts, comments, or concerns with the town board. Each individual should not be limited to time or number of times, since some individuals may have more than one concern. This is not to encourage a back and forth dialogue, but to allow the public to voice their thoughts, comments, or concerns during the public meeting. Town board members may address concerns at the end of the meeting if they should desire. That's my resolution.
Do you have that in digital that you can send me? I don't
Just
really
soft
have to
copy?
mold it into.
She's asking if you have an electronic copy of it.
Soft
that you
copy.
can email to them.
I did this one.
I'll type it up.
So now we're
I
making a
did this,
motion
Carol, I can take it up, it'll take a few minutes if you want.
under councilmember concerns is the motion.
Correct, yeah.
So we need it first.
Do we have a motion?
So moved.
Second?
Who made the motion?
Second.
You make the motion?
You proposed the resolution, and now we have a motion to approve the resolution.
Did you second?
Yes.
Okay. Councilmember Myers,
Yes.
Councilmember Jazinski,
Yes.
Councilmember Esposito,
Yes.
Councilmember Edwards.
No.
Supervisor Joyce.
Yes.
Okay, what do you want to call, what do you want to entitle your?
Ms. Mayor,